Hey now, what's up, everybody out there in the internet land, World Wide Web, podcast land, local radio, wherever you're hearing us right now? That sound means one and only thing. It is time for What's the Matter podcast with myself and Kel. What's up,
What's
Kel?
up?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Good.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I kind of just crashed on that theme song right there. Just like, wham, turned it all the way off. Just, I don't know, just where'd it go? You know, we are doing this again, episode 26 of What's the Matter with relationships today. Ghosted, gamed, or gaslit. We are produced live from the Matterhorn Studios here in beautiful Reno, Nevada, sponsored by World Matters Incorporated, and created and produced by Big Bongo Productions. And we get a little, help and shout out and support, from local businesses, Active Life Integrated Health, Skin Tuition, Ed Alexander out at Soul is Better, and of course, America Matters Media, the DBA flagship of all the FM 93.7. Some of the shows, Kel, we have, of course, is America Matters, the flagship, and there's Being Blunt with Jay Biggs every morning, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 10 a.m. You got the established Nevada Roundup with Shanimal, Smooth Ride Home with Lady J, State Your Case, and, of course, Ken's Bulls and Bears. So they got some good stuff if you're actually within the Transformer shot of FM radio, or you're here visiting Reno, Nevada. That's all good stuff. Today, we also have not in the studio. He is, in Bass Lake again, Mr. Art Areola.
Hey. Hello, Reno.
What's up? You doing it? You doing it, Art?
It's good to be here. 26. Wow, man. Congratulations, Kel. That's awesome.
Hey, just, keep plugging. Like I said, it's kind of this perseverance award that, like we were mentioning last week. But, today, setting this number 26 show up, we are talking about, we're dealing with relationships. And, Art, you're still dating. Kel, you're, kind of off the grid, on the grid. Yeah. Like, somebody came and
dude.
Yeah.
Came by. I consider it.
Got you with a lightning bolt, something like that. Yeah. You're open.
I'm open, but I'm not necessarily looking.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm definitely not, I look, but I'm not looking,
Right.
So
you're not available.
What's that old saying, I'm married, not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we embrace that. But we're talking about relationships today. And, specifically, I guess we're going to kind of start with what we're dealing with today, which is specifically, as mentioned, we're going to talk about, kind of like things, I don't think like ghosting was quite pronounced. Just ghosting back when we were growing up. It's just like, they just
not calling back. You just didn't answer the phone.
That's it.
Leave your answering machine
like,
on.
Yeah. Hey, so-and-so wants you on the phone. I'm telling them I'm not here.
And remember, caller ID was the big deal because you could really avoid people then.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And answer machines and all that good stuff.
Yeah. But ghosting just wasn't a thing. You just didn't do that. Yeah. If you didn't want to be with somebody, you were like, yeah, man, it's not working out.
Yeah, and then we're going to talk about being gamed and gaslit and all that different stuff. And I guess to start out, guys, let's start out with the basic definitions, and you can kind of enhance it or tell me if I'm wrong. But ghosted is when basically you're talking with somebody or even dating somebody, and then you just vanish without any kind of explanation, or there's avoidance, and there's this. It's kind of like, this avoidance kind
attachment styles.
Well, and it clashes right with honesty. Avoidance and ghosting clashes with the honesty,
integrity.
Yeah, well, because if you don't want to talk to somebody, the honest person. If you couldn't stand somebody, just like, oh, I hate when I have to talk to that person. The honest person would say, hey, you know what? I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but I just can't stand you. That's a brutal example.
Well, I don't think there's any need for that. If you can't stand somebody, you just avoid.
I know, I'm being facetious. Well, that's why people ghost, and that's what my point is that it's at a cost. This avoidance, you're saying just avoid them, but that comes at a cost of being ultimately honest with them. Because
after you state your case, like, but you don't have to say I can't stand you.
Well,
but you can just
I
say,
was being
I
facetious.
disagree with you.
I know I know. I'm being too jokey and you're being too serious right now. That's for later, Kel.
Okay.
But anyway, some of these signals for ghosting is when there's slow replies, or of course just silence.
They call that.
Yeah,
nowadays.
or making plans.
I don't even know what that means. Left on read? Like, what does that mean? What's read?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't heard about that one.
It must be an Apple thing. It's got to be some kind of Apple texting thing where, like, once you click on the text, it shows that you read it.
Yeah.
So if you don't, it stays on read that it's unread.
I don't even
Android doesn't
know that.
No, no.
So, I think that is
WhatsApp does too. Yeah,
it'll say delivered, but it won't say read.
Read. I gotcha. Yeah. See, Android doesn't do that, and even on WhatsApp, it's just little blue check marks, and you can turn that off. Yeah. You can turn the notification off.
But ghosting is one of them, guys, and so another one is being gamed. So this was something I was like,
what's that mean?
Yeah, so basically the definition of that is where you're being manipulated or played.
Right.
And then there are some, phrases, love bomb and a breadcrumb bench. I'll get into that in a little bit.
Those are big narcissistic.
Yep. And then some of the signals are these hot and cold patterns, just really vague. Yeah, we'll do that someday, but nothing.
Future fate.
And then the exclusivity dodges. Like if one person is.
Yes.
Hey,
what's the situation here?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Are we exclusive? Yeah. Are we dating?
We've been dating for 2 years.
I'm not looking for anything serious right now.
And then, examples would be, future talk early and then weeks of being busy. That's what I'm talking about. So everything is hot and heavy for a few weeks or whatever, and then all of a sudden just, totally chill. Another one, of course, is Gaslit. And this is something that most people are familiar with. What is going on there? Let me check into that. I see. I'm making all these noises. Speaking of noises, let's get one of these things for Gaslit. Hold on, I have a note. It's here. It was like one of the original. Oh, here it is. Yeah, one of the original gaslighting. So do you know what?
There was a movie called Gaslight.
No.
That's where the term came from.
Yeah, but like you'll get it. So one of the original, most truest forms of gaslighting.
Oh, truest forms of?
Yeah, is when you fart and you blame it on your dog.
Yes.
You blame it on your dog. See, that was way. No, but that's serious though. What better form? True.
My dad used to do that.
Dogs just like if dogs could speak.
I forgot about that. Oh, that's so funny. My dad used to do shit like that all the time. He blamed our cat for mangling the soap dispenser on our sink. Cat must have got her head up under there. I mean, it was like there was a hole.
Everybody has their blame it on the dog stories. I swear, that is no joke. I know my grandpa did it. I know that I've carried on that tradition. We got little Chloe. I'm blaming it on her all the time. So. And so, but basically, on a serious note, kind of the fascinating thing about gaslighting, and it's become more of an art form in some circles these days, is because your reality is denied and it's meant to control you, right? So signals, classic things like you're overreacting, things like that. You're rewriting the past, things like that. Here's another one,
That's
Kel.
not what happened.
Hey, how many narcissists does it take to change a light bulb? They don't use light bulbs. They use gaslighting. What?
That's a good one.
All right. So as you guys can tell, we're going to have some fun today. Funds. We haven't started funds yet. One of these days, we're going to put something out there. Say, hey, if you guys want to contribute, get us some T-shirts and stuff like that. But anyway, I had that note here, Kel. You never said that.
Yeah, that's. I never said that. That's not what happened.
But why this happens, right? Just being honest, it's kind of some of it, and you guys, of course, are the professional life coaches here. So some of them, there's conflict avoidance going on. Of course, ego, validation, that people need. It's kind of a novelty addiction. Art, with all of that, talking about some of these things between ghosting, game, gaslit, and again, these are kind of for us foreign terms, as compared to young people nowadays. But what's your experience been in those?
Great question. What I have found, Grady, is if you don't have an authentic personality that you've been practicing, win, lose, or draw, then you come up with something that's not authentic, that would allow you to form a connection with somebody or start something, but you really don't know how to keep it going, because healthy relationships are, first of all, honest, authentic, they're supportive, they're complimentary. And when you don't have those tools, and you've got to come up with something, and what happens is you create these things in the process, and you probably learn them from somebody else. That's not unusual, but it's more often a survival mode. It's better than being alone, so I'll just gaslight you. Yeah, it's weird. It's hard for me to understand, but I've been a victim of it. And I think it happens mostly to big hearts, innocent people that.
Oh, absolutely. Back.
Yeah. Even in the corporate world. Go ahead.
People that are ultimately seeing the good in somebody, they're going to be gaslit. They're going to have narcissists in their life. That's what happens.
Absolutely.
And they find that. They go out and find that. So that's been my experience.
Yep, me too.
And you guys have both been there, for example, even not just in relationships, because, say somebody that you're involved with romantically there's all kinds of different relationships.
My mother, I was raised by one. So literally I spent a lifetime.
So your think of like the corporate stuff, right?
Tons
so
of corporate.
Like management,
I was groomed. I was groomed by my mother.
Here's a classic one, right? Hey, I don't want to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? That's
not really gaslighting, though. That's gaslighting is when you no, that's more.
Let me give you an example. I don't want to be the bad guy, but Brad thinks that you're overbearing in the meeting sometimes. And Brad has no idea what
that's
you're
not gaslighting.
About.
That's secondhand. No. Well, gaslighting is absolutely denying someone's experience. I went to the store the other day. No, you didn't. Remember when I told you this? No, you didn't. You never said that.
Well, I've been told
gaslighting.
I've been told there's different variations. So I guess
but what you're getting at is something different. The example you're using is something that's a different rhetorical device.
Okay, I got you. So
that was good. That was good, Kel. You see a lot of gaslighting going on in politics these days.
Oh, big time.
Oh yeah, all
big
the time.
But that's like a secondhand accusation. That's hearsay, is what you're describing.
No, where I was going with it is that he's trying to
That's manipulation. Gaslighting is a very specific thing. What you're talking about is manipulation.
Okay.
You're manipulating the person's concept, but that's not gaslighting.
It seems the same. It's not like I want to get good at this stuff.
Right. No, but you have to be good at discerning what's what, because it's different. It has different outcomes.
Yeah. So let's talk about, kind of how this feels, or how when somebody is doing this, whether consciously or subconsciously, to other people, how does it make the other person feel, whether they're conscious of it or not? Kel, go ahead.
It confuses you. It makes you feel crazy. It makes you question yourself. It makes you doubt yourself. It makes you doubt the person. The lack of trust once you've been gaslit is, you've been stung. So now it's, you have to go back into that situation and try again. But there are people out there that are committed to misunderstanding you, and they will use this. This is one of the techniques they use. Primarily what the victim feels is just like they're crazy. They feel confused. They feel like there's something wrong with them. Is my memory slipping? Am I early dementia? I mean, you start questioning everything about yourself first when you're being gaslit. You don't rarely question the other person. You might at first, like, no, honey, don't you remember? I said we went over to the thing. No, you didn't. No, we didn't. We never did that. I've never done that. I've never been there. I've never met that person. I've never whatever. When clearly they have. Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Like, it's what?
What do you think the percentages are of people that do gaslight other people? What are the percentages that do it on purpose with ill intent versus people that are just just
don't remember or whatever? They say that narcissism is about 6% of the population, and I believe it's probably 10. It's probably undiagnosed. There's a lot more undiagnosed, but diagnosed currently 6%. So that doesn't preclude any people who are not narcissists from gaslighting people.
Right.
But if you're looking for actual statistics, that's probably the number you'd come up with.
Kind of more conscious violators. so to speak.
Yeah.
I guess that's not bad then.
Something
all
really
things considered out of 100%, if 6% of them, 6 to 10%,
Yeah.
it could be worse, I guess.
Oh, it could be much worse.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But, and most people, when they accidentally gaslight you, are open to correction.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you say, hey, remember you said we were going to go to the mall next week? No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. Remember we were talking on the phone Wednesday and, oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Most, normal people, if it's gaslighting is accidental, they've forgotten.
It kind of gets divulged in the process of working it out between the two.
Exactly.
So
Narcissists will not do that. They will stand their ground when you've got receipts. You can shove it in their face. What the fuck? What? Like, here? No, they'll still deny it.
Let's also keep in mind that the victim is giving them the benefit of the doubt.
That's right. Yeah, and that's what they're preying on.
Oh, it's like,
that the victim wants to think of themselves as a good person.
Yeah,
and they want to understand.
And
so you're kind of going along, and you're kind of trying to help them. What's happening is the narcissist is creating a problem for you to try to solve, which ultimately becomes control. But
and then they won't let you solve it. That's even further control.
No, if you do, there'll be another problem.
Right.
And so the victim is just being
they just want the
going
attention.
along with it because they don't know any different. Nobody has ever taught them about this.
That's not how you get.
Speaking of teaching,
extraction.
Yeah, speaking of teaching, I don't know which course that was in a long time ago, of course, and that's where investing in yourself, whether it's in a formal education or whether it's outside the confines of the four walls of a university, I did not want to be, of course, as a man, right? Because you've especially type A personalities, you want to be in charge, but I didn't want to have to be in charge. I didn't want to be overbearing and not be open to it.
You were a leader, not a manager. You took leadership, but didn't boss people around.
Well, not in that role, just in the general role. If I said just like, hey, didn't you remember, this last week? And it's just like, no, you didn't. You know what I mean? And then, so it'll get to a point to where, I will typically say something like, if it gets to a point, I'll say something like, just like, well, I could be wrong.
Right.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
And then just so that way, even if I am right, if I still feel like I'm right, having the maturity to find that exit ramp.
It's not,
it's
okay.
And
that golden bridge.
And every once in a while, I may say, well, I could be wrong.
Right.
I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
When you realize that person is more invested in being right than you are, you go, I guess I'm wrong. Whatever. It's just, you're like, this isn't that important.
Yeah, it's that saying, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy?
Right.
Right? Would you rather be right or would you rather be happy?
Exactly. It's
so it took me.
I have a hard time with it. I'm very righteous. I'm very self-righteous because I know what I know, and when I absolutely know what I'm talking about, and somebody tries to refute that, I get a little uppity. And
I can't imagine that.
Right. But but if I truly am not sure, and we're in a realm that I'm familiar with, but maybe not an expert in, I'm more than happy to, I'm the first one to say, oh yeah, my bad.
Exactly. Art, what do you think about all that?
Well, let me tell you this: the narcissist feeds off of information and pressure. So once they begin to apply a little pressure, then you begin to react. They know where you're at. Yeah. They're in control, and they can never do that to somebody that takes their time.
That's actually conscious.
Yes, that's not going to be a target for them.
Somebody that's
if
in
you're in a relationship, they do not want you to be in a relationship with somebody else also.
Right.
That takes their time. They're not reacting. They're responding.
Yeah.
At least.
Gray rocking is the best. Noted. Gotcha.
It's such
a understood.
Subtle thing. But again, when you start seeing the best, and then you start saying, hey, this person's really struggling. I need to really help them. Now you're hooked.
Yes.
So guys, let's flip it a little bit, because we just got through talking about how it makes someone feel that's on the receiving end of being gaslit. Now let's talk about how it feels to be on the giving end, from the psych standpoint, your brain basics, so somebody, and not just gaslighting, right? Remember, this is about ghosting, gaming somebody, manipulating, playing them, and, where you're just not serious. about something. And then, of course, gaslighting. So you've got this dopamine dip, right? That happens when people, again, especially the narcissists that consciously do this, and or let's say you're ghosting somebody,
Or
and
they don't
somebody's
necessarily consciously do it; they deliberately do it.
yeah.
They-
I mean
they-
the
they-
same. I mean the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean the
there's-
same
there's a-
thing. They know what they're
there's a-
doing. You know, in that, for example, again, not just the gaslighting, but on the ghosting side, if it's just a habit of yours, I have somebody that I love very dearly, and you know, everybody that knows him is the one thing that we can't stand about him is the whole ghosting thing. It's just, it's to most of us, it's kind of like disrespectful.
What is he just not? No call, no show?
No. Just in like a basic thing, like just basic communication, answering the phone or texting, replying back, you know. Just,
like when you actually need a response.
yeah. I mean, just a normal thing. It's not like, you know,
hey, dude, are we going to
you're
the movie?
bugging them all the time, every day or anything like that. So, but from that standpoint also, they, you know, they do get this dopamine dip or kind of charge hit. Yeah. Say, for example, because like, they have the power of when to respond. Right. And so they kind of hold, you know, them hostage, and they get this kind of
I don't give a shit. I care when somebody responds. I'm not an immediate responder either.
Depending on the circumstance. Depending on who it is.
Now
the
that totally
circumstance,
depends. Like if you're making plans in it,
you know, just like,
that's
hey,
different.
Hey, yeah, you know, I can pet sit for you, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And then the week of, you can't get in touch.
Right.
You know, or something like that.
No. I don't understand. That's just irresponsible.
So, but getting back to how they feel, then, you know, you guys can speak to not just the dopamine hit that they get, but then following it, you know, there's this shame spiral that I have noted here.
That's the depth of it. The crux of narcissism is insecurity and shame.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the follow-up to it, right?
Absolutely.
So then they'll go through that, and then maybe, of course, on the tails of that, there's this hypervigilance, rumination, and things like that.
Rumination is overthink.
Examples would be compulsively rereading texts, checking when a person was last active, like you guys were just hitting on that, you know, replaying scenes and stuff. So hit on those parts, Kel, from how this makes a person that engages in this stuff from the giving side.
Here's the thing. The person that engages it, all of this is dysregulated central nervous system behavior. That's the absolute root cause of the actual expression of all of this is dysregulated nervous system. And so the person who is perpetrating gets the dopamine hit, gets that sense of control, which it helps them elevate themselves. Narcissists truly believe that there is a delineation between superior and inferior people. Like that, you know, most of us believe that we're all like equal in that we all came in the same way. We all bleed red. We all have this 4 eyes, 2 eyes, 5 fingers, blah, blah, blah. You know, the format is basically the same. And that none of us are inherently, you know, above or below the other as natural beings, like as we come in, as we are. Now, can you enhance skills, knowledge? Yeah, you know, within the video game, can you enhance your character? Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But most people who have done that don't think of humanity in superior, inferior. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't think necessarily as, you know, I'm better than, you know, because of.
Yeah. Well, man, it seems like I get your point. It seems like it's at least the number of people that do seemingly feel like that has increased from the time.
It has.
Which is disturbing.
Awareness of it has. I don't know that it's necessarily increased numerically. Some awareness of it has, because we're not keeping our mouths shut. Those of us who've been narcissistically abused are opening our mouths finally,
and not just that, but
we're fighting back.
Back in the day, we had no idea if somebody was doing this on the other side of the world. Whereas now the internet provides a lot of things that we weren't able to see when we were growing up.
Sure,
but Art, follow up on that.
You know, I think that there's something far more in common also with the narcissist, is that they probably have split personalities, or at least there's 2 going on up there, and they do horrible things, and then they go through the shame and apologize and kind of beat themselves up and get you to feeling like, okay, maybe things are going to be okay now, because at least there's some accountability there. And then, a few days later, things are going great. And then bam, again, I was living with a person that had two different personalities. There was the very kind, very, very giving, very, very, everybody loved. And then there was,
And that's the hook.
oh no. Yeah, there was the one that was the enemy to us both.
Yes.
And yeah, it's such an interesting thing to go through because again, I would have never gone through anything like this had I not been a very caring person and help. Went through it a couple of times. But yeah, this is somebody who's very, very typically very, very wounded also. And they know it, but they don't know what to do about it. It's kind of a form of self-punishment too. If you decide to become one with them, then you're going to go through what they're going through as well. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. Have you guys ever heard of so let's look like let's give you an example, a little role play here. So this is called the slow fade. You ever heard of that?
Mhm.
The slow fade?
Yep.
What does that mean?
To me, the slow fade is, you were talking every day, seeing each other. Maybe if it's an online thing, let's start with an online one.
Okay.
If it's an online one, you're talking every day and getting along and building stuff and talking about future or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and then you don't connect as often. Maybe it's every other day or 5 times a week, and then it's 3 times a week, and then 2, and then you just kind of drop off
Interesting.
with no real, it's mutual, but no real end. Nobody specifically says, "Yeah, I'm kind of done with this." You just sort of drop off
Kind
and
of
stop.
dissipates. Yeah,
But
kind
it's
of
mutual.
or
Whereas ghosting is not mutual.
even in a where you're not even into it weeks and weeks, there's apparently kind of a technique where, like, for example, let's say this couple went out and then say, Sunday or Monday, she texts in, says, "Hey, had fun Saturday, want to meet this week?" And there's no response then, but the next day the response is, "Hey, it's a crazy week." And then that's all that's said. And then 2 days later, the girl says again, "Hey, I could do Thursday or Friday." And then you could see that they read it, but there's no reply again. And then finally the dude, says, "Hey, maybe next week." So that's what they, said
Oh,
qualifies as
okay.
a slow fade
I
too. And
gotcha.
so it doesn't have to be as long as
Okay.
that, but
I
it's
thought it
kind
was
of, but it's kind of
in
like
depth.
something that could say take place over a week. But
Oh,
to your
okay.
point too, I mean, it could happen after, but the point is, slow fade is kind of like you said, the
It's
things
just
are
dragged
going.
out ghosting.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But let's see, what are some of these things that, let me do this. All right, go ahead and follow up on
Something
that.
we need to add here, Grady, is that we all want people to be honest with us till it hits us in the head, and then we don't like it. And so what happens is in a lot of relationships, you'll get somebody who doesn't want to hurt the other person's feelings or make them feel rejected. So care looks like a fake. You have all these other things instead of authentic, you know, honesty. You don't have to hit them over the head with it, but it is true. Most of us say, "Hey, we want you to be honest with me," until you are. And then it's like, ouch.
Yeah, it's always difficult, being on the end of the rejection. And so there's something I have here also, because we don't want to just, be talking crap about everything without any kind of solutions, right? And so I have it down here that a healthy exit, let's say that you recognize that you're getting ghosted, played, or, gaslit. And again, boundaries, right? And so something that's easy is just to say, "Hey, it doesn't seem like our rhythms match. And so no hard feelings, and I wish you well." Boom, short, sweet. And then in a way that takes the pressure off
It
of
should,
the
yeah.
person, right? That can't
Yeah.
appropriately do that,
Yeah.
So if you
And if at that point, it's not like they're they're a dismissive avoidant, and it's just their nature. When somebody starts to express interest in them, is to pull away. That's natural. I mean, it's natural for them. And when the first person says something like that, it gives them the opportunity to then feel into their avoidance and go, "Oh, well, maybe I want this."
Yeah.
I was in a very healthy relationship a couple of years ago. this gal she was a jewel, but I sensed that her love and her desire for me was growing and growing far more than it was for me. And ultimately, I had to be honest with myself and I had to be honest with her. And I said, look, I'm not feeling what you're feeling, and I feel like I'm misleading you.
Yeah.
And,
That's good.
and it worked out well. She said, well, I'm going to have to process this. Next day she said, why don't we just cut it off here, keep it clean, and friendship or anything like that's not going to work for me. And you know what? It worked.
I like
It worked
that.
in that
Nice.
situation because it was a healthy relationship and it ended well.
See, that's good. You guys were being adults. I like that.
Yeah, and it's rare.
It is.
But that's if you can get a situation like that, even if it ends.
Well, it was a tough one for me because I kept putting it off because, of course, I didn't want to hurt this person's feeling. But then I realized what I was doing. And I said,
Right.
no, I can't do that anymore. I've made these mistakes in the past, and it never works out.
When one has more feelings than the other, the one with less feelings has too much control.
Yes, exactly, Kel. And
Are you trying to get into
it was
jokes?
a really, really.
We're having a conversation here. We have adults in the room.
But you mentioned also, G, some solutions, and there's a potential solution for somebody out there listening, and I hope that can help somebody.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So did you?
Yeah, it's time.
Oh, you didn't hear it? It's hard. Sometimes it's difficult to hear. They're so quiet. But yeah, we're just, we're going to go ahead and get into the portion of the show. That's the laughing. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, so we're talking about relationships today. Let me make sure that I have this thing queued up just in case these things don't land properly. So we are talking about relationships today. And we also had the earliest tie-in, you guys, with how the dog.
To what?
The dog, is tied into gaslighting,
Yes.
the earliest form of gaslighting and stuff like that. But speaking of farts, how do you guys know how relationships are like farts? Do you know how?
No.
Because if you have to push too hard, it's probably shit.
That's a good one.
Oh my goodness.
I like it.
One down. And another thing is, like, I want to let you know, I can't speak from experience, but as far as like gay relationships go, I heard that they're a real pain in the ass. Art. Okay.
They might disagree. Deadly.
Gracious. Okay. So what about this one, you guys? So, like, this isn't religious or politics or anything like that, but do you know when if a good Christian girl is ignoring your calls and she's kind of ghosting you, it's not called simply ghosting. It's called holy ghosting.
When you can't get your pastor to call you back. Holy ghosted.
Right. That's right. That's right.
You're killing me.
Hey, do you know what the hardest thing about dating a blind woman is? Just getting her husband's voice just right.
What does she say when somebody asks you, are you seeing somebody?
Oh, that was a good little comeback there, Art. All right. So now we'll end this with our little extra credit one right here. Okay. I'm going to turn you guys down. Hold on just a second. So now this guy named Jack is dating this girl named Paula, and he's taking her out about 5 times before he gets her finally back up to his apartment for a little bit of coffee. They start fooling around the couch, and then they move to the bedroom. They have sex. They have great sex. And then afterwards, Paula glances over to the nightstand. She sees this box of Trojans, and it's a 12-pack. But there are only 5 of them that are left in there. And then the following conversation takes place.
What happened to the rest of them?
Well, I masturbated into them.
All right, now
Okay.
she accepts his answer, but she's really, I don't know about, accepting it because she's really curious about it. And then a couple days later, when she's at lunch with a few of her guy friends, she asks them about it.
Do you guys ever do that?
Sure, all the time.
Really? You masturbate into condoms?
Oh, no. I thought you were asking if I ever lie to my girlfriend.
Okay, we'll move on.
That's funny.
It wasn't bad. What am I spending too much time on these jokes?
It's 20 to 5.
No, I'm talking about in general. All right. Next segment, we're going to be talking about how to spot things early, you guys. Talking about red flags, reality checks.
I missed a few.
Like really like somebody, and then you're not catching the signs, because
or you're ignoring them or justifying them. Benefit of the doubt thing really fucks you.
Well, it was a thing that I heard a long time ago that especially when you're younger, right? Not, I guess it's probably across the whole spectrum, but a lot of times two people will meet, and especially, the classic traditional male-female type of thing. And she'll say, I really like this guy. He's kind of like rough around the edges, but I could help that. I could help impact that over time. And the guy is just like,
nope.
This chick's pretty cool, man, because she accepts me for the way that I am. And so later on, these things come to a head with each other.
No,
and,
bad.
Yeah.
Don't ever get with somebody expecting they're going to change.
So
women think that their men will change.
Yeah.
And men think their women never will.
Yeah, and there's different points that different people are in at different points of their life and different thing like that. So we have 4 different colors here. The first thing is like red. Stop. Wait, I have something right here. Yeah, that one right there, So love bombing in the first week. Do you know what love bombing is?
You better believe I do.
I never heard about love bombing.
Oh, God.
But love bombing is the over-the-top affection or attention that's early.
Or fast.
Yep. To track attachment, so these grand promises, intense texting, rushing exclusivity and stuff like that. So that's love bombing.
Mine told me he loved me 12 days in.
12 days. What's the fastest that you've ever told a girl that you loved her art?
Not nearly that fast. I don't like that.
Like in your whole life?
That's
what about kindergarten?
That's a real red flag for me.
No.
It's a needy person that's usually in that situation, and I can't rely on that kind of emotional charge.
Yeah. Another red flag is if a person is only available late night. Only late night availability. Not available normal hours and stuff like that.
Family hours.
And here, how about this one, you guys? What about somebody you're getting to know each other and stuff like that, and they're always vague about their past? Or if you ask them something specific, they change the subject.
Yep.
Right? They're hiding something. Art, you agree?
Yep.
Oh, most definitely. I'm not thrilled about my entire past, but I don't mind talking about it to somebody that's ready to receive it.
Yeah, I'm an open book.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you whatever.
All right. Now, next level, not quite as red, but still pretty close to a red flag, is somebody that, especially after, let's give it a couple months, say 2 to 6 months. Let's put it somewhere in there as far as the time frame. And this person won't define the relationship. Like, what are we doing here? Now, we're not saying that you have to get married.
Right.
Not saying you have to get engaged
forever.
You don't have to be exclusive, but you should be able to define it. Like, hey, where I am in my life, I really like to live footloose and fancy free. And right now you're the fancy free.
Right.
And not saying I want you to charge me, and then another, orange flag, let's call it that, the orange flag, is when somebody always canceling repeatedly. It's just a hit and miss type of thing as far as plans. Really a lack of priority of you as a person, or a person that's, they're dating. And then again, another one, this might even still be red, but it's pretty close to it. If you're seeing somebody and they're not telling anybody that they're seeing you after a while, they're just keeping you a secret, a little down low booty call, and stuff like that. And just like, oh yeah, I've been seeing them for 3 weeks. What? I see them every day. They haven't said anything about you. Stuff like that.
Yeah, he wouldn't let me change my relationship status on Facebook.
Now, here's one that's kind of subtle, and I thought it was interesting. And I have to, almost in a way, just being honest, because I'm always kidding around. And Art and I were just talking about how when we were kids, it was like there was no kid gloves. I mean, we made fun of each other like to the core.
Saturday
And
Night
if we,
Live.
yeah, and if we if you like
People are
your
brutal.
feelings hurt or something like that, you'd be saying,
Rub
man,
some
get
dirt
your-
on it.
So, but this, this red flag says that if there's somebody that is in quote kidding, and that kidding are digs at your looks and your values and stuff like that, that's again kind of a semi.
Yeah, they're not jokes. Those are intended as
know.
insults where the person wants to save face.
Yeah. I mean, would you agree that let's say you're seeing somebody for the first, say, like I said, 2 to 6 months, right? Versus somebody that you've known and been with for 10 years or more. And let's say it's something that's common between the two of you.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a joke between the two of you, I mean, if it's been developed over time and you're comfortable with each other and it's not painful to you, it's not, you don't consider it insulting. That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
But when you're with some new dude you've been
Mhm.
dating for a couple of weeks and he's like, that dress actually looks good on you.
Mhm. Yeah.
Shit like that, little subtle little digs.
Gotcha.
That's not my favorite color on you. You don't look so great.
Yeah.
It's just little shit like that seems helpful, like it's trying to be helpful, and it's just an absolute dagger.
Okay.
And they're telling you who they are
Yes.
right then and there.
They're
And
telling
it's
you
our
much more about themselves.
It's our responsibility to listen.
Somebody calling you?
Yeah.
That's great.
That's Coach Plumber.
But yeah.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. I texted him earlier.
Oh, cool.
So,
Yeah,
but
you know,
that's
I'm
go ahead.
I'm really enjoying it, but I'm watching myself 10 times as much as I'm watching her now. And it has been priceless. Because if I see a red flag, I'm going to address it. But I haven't seen any. I've seen concerns, we addressed them, and we moved on. But it's because I'm really keeping an eye on me this time, not trying to make something happen that's
Right.
not good for me.
Yeah, that's the key right there. This time, I'm the buyer, and I am a discerning luxury buyer now. I am not the seller.
Well-
I am not trying to convince anybody what I bring to the table, what I have to offer. No, I am very secure in who, what, and how I am. And I know what I bring to the table.
That's so true. And what I'm finding is I'm not seeing red flags like I used to. I'm seeing, hey, this person's telling me who they are.
Right.
It's not a red.
No, it's not so much
you
a
know,
red flag. It's just, that's just who they are, and I'm not interested.
Exactly. And it's real simple when you approach it that way.
And the other key to that is knowing that you can walk away at any moment, even if you still want the thing. But knowing that within yourself that you have the confidence to know that the minute that thing happens that is not, that goes against your set boundaries, you walk and you don't question it. You don't cajole, beg, try anything. You just go, that's who you are. I'm out. And then if they want to change and try and come back and prove things, maybe. But up to that point,
Yeah, it's that
and
thing.
I'm willing to walk at any point.
Somebody said when somebody shows you who they are for the first time, believe them.
Believe them. And
Yeah.
the biggest problem with this is why women are the way we are now is because so many of us got caught financially strapped in these situations. We were fine on our own. We get into a situation with some dude and everything falls apart. And then we have to rebuild from ground zero again every time.
And
Men do not add to most of our lives.
Yeah, and just to chime in, that's not exclusive to the female gender.
No, it's not. Not at all.
Yeah, especially
It's just
in
increased.
today's climate, having gone through divorce with kids, the system is slanted because there were some dicks out there. The system, the laws, and everything has been kind of slanted to where it's tough, for the guys once they get strapped with the child support. Anyway, we could talk about that.
Sure.
That's actually a good subject one of these days. I have some attorney friends. We could talk about that stuff. But another little definition here, guys, is breadcrumbing.
Yes.
And that's where you're just giving just enough attention through likes, memes, hey, stranger, just to keep people on the hook without, actually
Dopamine.
having a real
Those
commitment.
are dopamine hits.
Yeah, to these people. So that's another term that I wanted to point out. And you guys actually just hit on, finally, there are some green flags. So
Definitely.
when you're dating, right, here's some of the green flags, right? So again, it could be when appropriate, time appropriate, when you're with somebody that you're actually sharing the intentions. And they could be contrary to each other, but just the effort of the other person sharing their intentions in the relationship with you, what they see, so far so good. There's some things that we could work on, but I really like you, things like that, sharing what the intentions are. That's a good green flag. Somebody that plans ahead, right? Now, I'm kind of hit and miss on this. I apparently knocked it out of the park, with the engagement and all that stuff and everything, but we were talking about holidays and everything. And I guess as far as like gifts and things like that, I rely on feedback from other people instead of actually doing
Guessing.
that work myself, I would say. So I kind of collaborate and delegate, hey, find out what this person is needing or something like that. But so I could work on that as far as like planning ahead. But I guess my disclaimer would be, I've been in a relationship, not that I should fall asleep but for 20 plus years, the dating thing, we're talking about people that are not engaged, but you're actively in a relationship and you're not married. There's no long-term.
You should never, ever, ever stop dating your wife.
I know.
But
I mean, we do go on dates, but I guess it could be more frequently and stuff like that.
And it's a mindset thing. It's the mindset. It's how you see her.
And the green flag, though, is if you have a dude or if you have a girl that actually plans ahead, says, hey, if they say, what are we doing this week? Well, I've checked this place out, this place out, this place out. What do you think? That's somebody that's planning ahead.
Or at least thinking ahead.
Thinking ahead. Somebody that's consistent. Consistency is a big thing, right?
Big.
If you say that you're going to call them, if you say that you're going to text them when you get home after work or whatever, make sure that you follow up and you're consistent. And then what Art was talking about is if you're with somebody that has the ability to make repairs on the hiccups that you guys have, the little bumps in the road, if you guys are able to talk about that, repair them,
is critical.
and make those whatever disagreements, arguments, bumps in the road to where it makes your relationship better,
stronger.
That's
when you know you got a good one.
That's some magic stuff. Art?
And there's some really great ways to go about that. One of the things that I told her up front is that, look, we're not going to continue to move forward when we got a problem. We're going to stop. We're going to fix it first. And if we can't fix it, there's no sense going forward. And she really appreciated that.
I bet.
Yes. And the other thing is we should say this, hey, this is not just about relationships, personal relationships. It could be on the job. You could be getting gaslit by your employer.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Narcissistic bosses are rampant.
Oh, it's huge. So, once we get, a little bit more practice in these things, then we get a lot more consistent because we practice them wherever we go.
Yeah, that's the key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there are some direct message scenarios. Like I kind of pointed out, Mr. Breadcrumb Benny, sounds like a typewriter, but he's texting.
And the thing with breadcrumbing is how this works is it's dopamine. It's trickled dopamine hits. And most people that get into situations with narcissists are empaths. So they're already deficient in a lot of cases. Their dopamine levels are already off.
Yeah.
So these little hits, they can survive on that because these little hits to them feel big.
Yeah. But this is the breadcrumbing. That's something to where people should be aware of, kind of like being gamed a little bit.
That's
where
a definite gaming.
Continuously, like this week is crazy, maybe next week and stuff like that. And again, I found through life that, that you're going to spend time with people that you prioritize. And so if you don't make a priority, that means that you're not a priority. And it's okay.
It's okay. Again, that's the thing. It's like, look, it's okay. This is what I want. This is what you want. They're not a match. That's okay. I mean, like, I don't understand the whole, like, people arguing about these things.
What do you think about this? Gaslight Gina. She says, said I could cancel, so stop being dramatic.
Said I could cancel?
Yeah. So, let's say that she flakes out. And why did you wait to the last minute?
Oh, yeah,
I bought the tickets 2 days ago. You knew that I was going to, and they're $150 each.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for me to get rid of these. And then if she responds, you said I could cancel. Stop being so dramatic. I said you could cancel when I was within the cancellation period.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So Another,
the more aware we become of these things, guys, we actually start to realize, hey, it's my struggle. We're fighting because I got an internal struggle going on, or we're fighting because she's got a struggle, and we got to know the difference.
Yes.
You know, what's mine, what's yours, and what's ours. I should never be trying to figure out somebody's struggle unless they're wanting my direct input on it. And these are little tools that you pick up along the way, but they come through clarity and through connection and through better questions. Hey, what's going on? Is this me? You know, are you under a lot of pressure? Did I, you know, what's really happening?
What's happening? Yeah, like let's talk about like talk to me. You know, I'm not the enemy here. And that's the other one. You know, the other key, good green flag, is if you're with somebody who says it's not you versus me, it's you and me versus the problem.
Exactly. That's teamwork.
That's teamwork. And you've got to remember you're on the same team. You are on the same team. And so many relationships turn adversarial because of petty little crap.
Yeah.
Like really stupid shit.
Yeah. And a lot of the times, the things that you're arguing about on the surface, they are not what's going on.
Right.
It's something more of a core fear that's happening deep down inside. Here's a case in point. I started a little war with my girlfriend a little over a week ago. And ultimately what I told her is, I'm becoming so vulnerable because I love you. And part of me is really not liking that.
Right.
And she got a big kick out of that because she says, well, I am too. I said, I know. And I had to take some time to reflect on really what's going on there. Because really she didn't do anything wrong. I was irritated and I wasn't myself, but
That's neat though. How long have you guys been seeing each other?
It's going on 8 months now.
Nice. Very nice.
I didn't say I was certain that, you know, we were a good fit for each other and we were going to get here, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been cool. I've learned so much now being in a healthy relationship because I haven't had that.
You're not used to it. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing.
All right, Art. Hey, you got to take off here in about 3 minutes. Let's get some quick micro scripts in here and let me get your feedback on this. On the first one, in regards to kind of like a boundary, you know, again, you're finding something out about a person, and let's say that you got this flag where they're not being consistent, right? Let's say they're flaking out a lot, canceling, whatever. So this boundary template of saying, quote, I like consistency. And so if that's not your style, no hard feelings, just let's skip the gray area. End of quote. You know, so it's to the point, you know, saying, hey, I like consistency. So if that's not your style, no problem.
Yeah, no problem, but it's not going to work for me.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think, Art?
Yes.
Like that one? Okay. Now this one's an actual call out, but it's kind of a little bit firm. Quote, the hot and cold isn't working for me. So if you're in, show up. If not, I'm out.
Yep.
I mean, that's cut and clean, right?
For me.
Yeah.
I have rejection sensitive dysphoria, so ADHD, and I can't do hot and cold. I shut down. I absolutely shut down.
Then if your communication is primarily text, you know, like long distance, you know, it's not like somebody that you're going to see, you know, consistently, but it's at the end, the exit, a clean exit. It's just saying, I don't feel alignment, you know, I'm wishing you well.
Yeah.
I don't feel alignment, wishing you well. And then I have in parentheses, block them if you need to.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so. But,
that's the one decent thing about the technical tools we have. It's pretty easy to avoid.
But hey, I know that Art does have some timeline here. I got a little alarm going off, so I want to make sure that he feels love for coming in. And Art, you want to have anything to sign off with before you take off?
Yeah, I love you guys. I love these conversations. They're so meaningful to me, and I know that this is going to help somebody out there. And I hope they're listening. Keep up the great work that you guys are doing, and let me know anytime I can be of any use to you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, brother. Hey, love you too. Drive safe, be safe. And I'm just going to turn you down. You go ahead and hang up. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks.
All right. We always have a good time when Art's on.
He's amazing.
Good stuff. Good
really,
stuff.
Really good people.
So I wanted to squeeze in, you know, this, the lightning round with him, but he had stuff to do, you know, so let's do this, Kel. So lightning round here, name one personal, like as far as relationships go, one personal non-negotiable that you have for life.
You do not lay hands on me in violence.
Oh, yeah.
You never hit me.
That's a no-brainer.
You don't hit me, you don't lie to me, and you don't steal from me.
Okay.
Those are instant deal breakers.
That's a no-brainer. I'll let you get away with it, though. But what about, let's see, okay, so let's talk specifically about a first date. Okay, so first date, what's your favorite first date boundary line?
I'll be really honest with you. I've really never been on a date.
What?
Like, I've never met a stranger, exchanged phone numbers, had them call me, set up a meeting, and gone out.
A date?
I've never really dated like normal people do.
Yeah, but at one time you're saying never.
Like, not in the normal sense. Like, all of my relationships started as platonic friendships that evolved.
Uh-huh.
Typically because of the
You were
relation of the
still
guy.
kind of dating, but you just weren't romantically dating. So let's say once your friend turned into a romantic date, then qualify it like that. Okay, so you guys, when you're friends,
see, it went from like friend to relationship. Like, there was no interim, like where there was that, because of the way they developed.
Okay,
that
so you're
my
saying
relationships trajectory is weird.
So you're saying that you're not qualified to answer this
probably
question?
Not. Probably not.
Okay.
I would say, like, are you basically saying, like, what are some red flags?
No. I was saying, like, on your first date, what's your favorite boundary line? So, like boundary line, obviously. I don't never have sex on the first date. I never kiss on the first date.
I usually don't eat.
But you can still have boundaries that can be a favorite, right? And so if you say, okay, so on the first date, I don't have dessert.
Nah.
But if you have dessert, then I'll take a bite. Something like that. Something that's a boundary that you would have on your first date. So that's kind of like that's the way that I kind of understood that question.
I don't really know.
Yeah, because otherwise,
I don't have that
if it was
experience.
something negative, it wouldn't be your favorite, right?
Yeah, favorite boundary.
Yeah.
See, and this boundaries are something I have trouble with as a narcissistic.
Another boundary
abused.
is like on a first date, I will never go over to a man's house and let him cook dinner for me.
Absolutely not.
Right?
I would never.
So
no,
that's my favorite boundary. Because
never,
that means
never.
That
and nobody picks me up. I meet you. I'll meet you there.
Yeah, and then we say, why is that your favorite boundary? It's just like, well, because if I'm not going to his house, he's definitely not coming to my house on the first date, and that means we're going out to dinner.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why it's my favorite.
Yeah, there you go.
Man, I'm doing all your work for you.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this one? What is a green flag? We hit a couple of them, but you probably have your own. And what's a green? This is a good question. Like, so you're on that date, and there's a green flag right in front of your face, and you don't see it. Flossing?
Wiping his butt? That's a tough one. Because to me,
because it's under the radar.
Green flags are
right?
so rare, they're obvious that I'm like trying to think of like a sneaky one.
What about, well, I mean, because again, thinking
just automatically
just
pays
as
the
knuckle
check.
draggers.
Like, doesn't even wait for the waitress to bring the check, like goes to the bathroom and takes care of it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because it's always a fight with me.
I like doing that.
That's always a fight with me because I will always insist I at least pay my
I know, you've done that a couple times. Damn it.
Deal to me.
Stop it.
That's a heavy one.
Yeah, but like, that's not fair sometimes.
I've never been with a dude that ever paid.
Don't make it a game.
So I'm not used to it. And it feels like control.
Uh-huh.
It's a weird.
No, I always like it
because
because I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. And I appreciate you.
And it's not.
And I'm also used to being the one who has money when nobody else does.
Yeah.
So I always get stuck paying for everybody.
You haven't seen me on the street corner yet.
No. You're awesome. Like, I'm not used to it. Like, friends who actually offer to pick up the check. Like, I'm lucky if I get somebody to even take the.
Your life is still young. All right, now, okay. So I just kind of hit on this a little bit as far as, like, remember I was talking about priorities, like your priority or you're not, right? And so the quote of, if they wanted to, they would, end quote.
Yes,
right? So
absolutely.
if they wanted to, do you agree?
I absolutely agree.
Is there any nuance?
To me,
is there any nuance?
There is a little nuance there.
That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah,
what's the nuance?
There is some nuance there. For the most part, I believe that's true. If they wanted to, they would. The nuances can be with, if they have some insecurities, like their attachment style is a little, avoidant, where, excuse me, I don't know why my throat is so hunked up. Give me the question again.
Are you stoned?
No, I'm actually not. I should be.
No, the phrase, if they wanted to,
if they wanted to,
they would. The nuances.
Yeah, the nuances of that are, sometimes we just get overloaded. Life today, I think that was much more applicable maybe 10 years back. ago. But I think things have escalated and are moving at such a fast pace now.
Yeah,
that
I see what you're
distractions happen, overwhelm happens, burnout happens.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us are neurodivergent. You know, there are biological factors that can play into, you know, where you really have the genuine desire and you just don't have the energy. You just don't have the whatever. But when it becomes a pattern and consistent where they're not doing, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for me, like when I'm in a relationship, it's inherent to me to like do things for my partner without thinking. Like I don't have to be asked to take your dishes into the, you know, kitchen or grab you, you know, ask if you want something to drink when I go to get something or whatever. Like that's just what I do, you know? And I'm always shocked when I'm with somebody who doesn't do that.
So what is one behavior that you used to rationalize, but you no longer rationalize?
I used to let a lot of shit slide. I had very porous boundaries. And
so what's one more behavior you don't? You're just like, nope, there's no rationalization for that. See you.
Like being disparaging, like disrespecting me.
Yeah.
On like
a whim.
On like base levels, like you know, making fun of my weight or like picking like jabs at things
like
that
anything
you
like a
know.
physical abuse.
That something I don't have control over.
That
or,
makes sense. Yeah.
You know.
Now let's see. 2-text rule. What is it? Why does it work?
What's the 2-text rule?
I don't know. It says my notes here that there's something out there that's called a 2-text rule.
Don't. I bet that's you text once. They don't respond. You text again.
Right. Yeah.
Don't do it anymore.
That's exactly right. So after a date.
Yeah. Like one missed text, maybe it didn't get delivered. 2, no.
Yes. Does something come to mind about, say, you're kind of in a getting to know a person mode. And then is there one question that you have in your holster that reveals this other person's values really fast?
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
What did you learn most from your last relationships and the breakups?
Oh man, that opens up.
What did you learn most about
how
yourself?
How much time do you allot for that conversation?
Well, it depends because
time and place on that.
The quick
right?
answer of they were all crazy or nothing or any kind of dismissive answer to it. Good information.
I don't need to show you the crazy hot chick matrix. I didn't get to do that yet. Oh my gosh. Maybe we can do that today.
Okay.
I always get excited when somebody's seen that for the first time, male or female, you know, so it's brilliant. And they do have one for males too, you know.
That's
so
funny.
Before you ask that question, all the females, do they have one for men? Just like, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So, okay. So last one. Okay. So micro promise that you use to test reliability with somebody else.
See, I don't do that, but I should probably start.
Like, yeah, I do that all the time.
Do you?
Yeah. I'm a big tester. And
I'm not.
But they don't know it.
Yeah.
I filter all the time. And it's just, again, from priorities, right? If someone takes care of business, I respect that. You know, you're taking care of business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you take care of business, you know.
Yeah.
I respect that. You know? But not everybody's like that. You know,
I'm always surprised, I guess, when they're when
it gets back to that when someone shows you who they are the first time, you know, believe them.
And I used to be notorious for giving benefits of the doubt.
Yeah, I'm real guarded on time, you know. Now,
I am too. I am too. I didn't used to be, but I definitely am now.
So let's see. Let's move into we're on time here. Next segment. So kind of like we talked about the symptoms, right? And we talked a little bit about recognition, but let's talk about what to do, you know, kind of next if somebody does run into some of these ghosting, gaslighting, getting gamed, manipulated, played, and stuff like that. So if I have this set up here, make sure everything's set here. All right. So this first one. So if you're ghosted, right? So the scenario, Kel, is that you got this great first date, right? And then silence. Or you have this steady chat and then they ghost you after you ask for plans. So let's say you're to the point to where you're just like, okay, that's it. I'm going to say it to them. So here are some other suggestions. So give us some, I guess, feedback on these different ones. So here's the first one.
I enjoyed meeting you. If it's not a fit, totally fine.
You like that? Short and sweet?
Yep.
Doesn't hurt feelings or anything like that?
It's not a match. It's not a fit.
Yeah.
Not aligned, not feeling it.
All right. Now, what about this scenario? So you're love bombed the first week. So there's head over heels. And now all you're getting is memes, not really making any plans, reschedules, without, hey, we need to, reschedule, but then there's no really rebooking.
Right.
Right. So here's a template for something to say there.
I'm looking for steady. If that's not you, no worries. Let's part ways.
Yeah, that's another good one.
You like that too?
And any of those are fine. Like, any kind of just short, sweet, no blame, no harm, no foul kind of, there's no reason at that stage. It's so early.
Yeah.
Why would you need to, why would there be any hard feelings?
Now, tell me if I'm wrong on this. So between these three, I was thinking, okay, so which one is the most harmful, right? And I don't know if I'm right, but my guess was the most harmful seems to be the gaslighting. Would you agree between these three? Gaslighting, ghosting, and just,
Absolutely.
the whole gaming somebody, because gaslighting, it really can be harmful, to their psyche.
It can. It definitely can. So can manipulation. Yeah, gaslighting, it can absolutely make you think you're crazy.
All right, now, so this last one, if you recognize that you're being gaslit.
My experience is valid, even if you disagree. I'm going to be stepping back.
Yeah, that's a good one. Anything like that. I remember it differently.
I mean, that sets somebody on notice right there.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you're doing. You're putting them on notice. You're not trying to correct them. You're not trying to make them, not trying to make yourself right, make them wrong, whatever. You're just stating your case of, I remember differently. I had a different experience,
Right. And then so also hit on like the good positive things that is doing in that moment for that person, male or female, when they recognize that they're being played, gaslit, ghosted, or whatever, and how important is it that they're actually establishing those boundaries, standing up for themselves?
It's absolutely. Right. And recognition is the first step, is recognizing in the first place that this is manipulative behavior, gaslighting, whatever it is, because we as the victim are typically empathic. We're caring, loving, compassionate people, and we want to see the best in everybody. So when this stuff starts happening, that's why it's enabled to continue, is because you pull it in on yourself. You're like, oh my God, did I not do that? Did I do that? Because you don't want to hurt them. You're thinking they're hurt somehow. And the absolute number one way to tell that someone cares, that you care about someone is that you don't want to see them hurt.
Now I'm going to say some words here. So we're talking about now the healthy contrast to all these negative things we're kind of talking about today. So I'm going to say words and you say stop when you want to talk about a particular word. Okay. Consistency, clarity, curiosity.
Yeah, that's very, very important. And that's the weirdest thing nowadays is like men don't have a clue how to have a conversation. They don't know how to ask questions. Like there's zero curiosity. It's just all them spouting all their crap about how great they are, or what they do, or who they are.
That's been that way for a long time.
Awful.
Yeah.
Just awful.
There's not very many courses of how to.
Well, and here's why. Here's the thing. Like,
have a successful date.
Right. Well, men are taught that women are hard to get. So they're focused on strategy. I won the date. I got her in bed. I, got her out to dinner and whatever. They're not focused on the person.
Yeah.
They're focused on the conquest.
What should their first conquest be?
It shouldn't be a conquest. It should be getting to know the person and finding out if you care.
I know, but don't get into the dichotomy of the word, because I'm just kind of flipping what you're saying. So what should the first victory feel good? What should the first goal?
The first accomplishment?
Yeah, that's for a healthy relationship from the guy.
Genuine interest.
Yeah.
Like really wanting to know who and how she is, and not just looking at a body wanting to fuck it.
Right.
Not wanting to masturbate in it. That's what most men do. They masturbate with women's bodies.
This is true. I mean, it's true.
Period.
I mean, we're animals.
That's it.
So when you see something that looks good,
right.
It's kind of like you do what you have to do if you really want it, and how much money you have.
But they don't even know why they want it. They want it because it's conditioned.
Yeah.
Society says, pretty girl, go fuck, go, must have.
It depends on what age you are, of course, because I remember just like, the person that I was when I was, between 15 to even 24.
You're an exceptional case.
Well, no, because when I was 24, I was married, but I never stepped out.
Right.
But
But you were considering options.
I was 24.
Exactly. Why the hell should anybody be married before they're 30?
Now,
stupid.
If I was hit on now, as a matter of fact, this is a true story. I'm probably maybe 5 years ago.
Okay.
Right. So Midtown Wine Bar. So we normally go there together. We would go there on Tuesdays because they would have bingo, stuff like that. And it was fun. And so there was, right. And so there was one time where my wife couldn't go.
Okay.
And we weren't actually technically married, but we'd been together for 20 years or whatever it was. So anyway, this very attractive.
Common law at that point.
Yeah, very attractive. I, put her at about 32 to 36. Somewhere around there. Comes
You
up.
go, Grandpa.
She says, excuse me. She says, my name's so and so. She says, I'd just like to know if you were married. And I was just like, I'm not technically married, but I'm involved with somebody. And and then in the inside, I was like, what's she going to say next? What if she says something just like, well, bring her too? The little devil and angel on both of the shoulders, right? And so do you know what she did say?
What'd she say?
She's like, oh, that's too bad. She says, I was wondering because I was going to try to hook you up with my mom.
Are you serious?
And so
That's a true story?
it's a true story.
Oh, that's cute.
And so I could not wait to tell my lady the story.
I bet.
And then when she was walking like the little angel and devil on the two shoulders, the angel was rolled over laughing. So,
The devil's got his tail between his legs.
yeah, because the devil is the one. The devil is the one that said maybe she's going to say that bring her.
That's so cute.
Oh my!
It is so
goodness.
cute.
Too funny. All right. So, what about finishing down these terms? So we had curiosity. What about repair after rupture?
That's big too. That's really big.
Right. And so, what do you look for? Let's say I was always like, is this our first argument? Like when you're dating somebody?
Yeah.
Right? Is this
Like,
it? This is the first time?
Yeah.
This hasn't happened. We've been together 6 months. So what are we going to do here? Right. And so, but there's a way to work through that. Right. So what's a great green flag for somebody that, as it says here, knows how to repair after there's a rupture? And there's different ruptures, right?
Oh,
there's
big time.
temporary ruptures.
Absolutely.
There's ruptures that could last for
there's
weeks,
the rupture of I told you to do the dishes and you didn't, to you forgot my
cheated on
birthday
me.
or you cheated on me.
Yeah.
And to me, cheating is not
That's a game
it's
killer.
not, that's you don't fix that.
Yeah.
But it can get pretty close. They're not necessarily in that same realm, but that severe. But can still be repaired.
Yeah. But what are some green flag habits or traits that you would
I've
see?
never had anybody do it. I have no idea.
Really?
No clue.
Huh.
No clue. I've been with avoidance my whole life.
Man, I don't know what to say.
I've never been in a healthy relationship.
Yeah. Damn.
Never once.
That's hard to define too. A healthy relationship.
Mine were
on the
clear.
surface.
Yeah. No,
on
mine
the
were
surface.
very, very. I'm an ex-people pleaser, so I would just let shit go.
What about aligned pacing?
That's another good one.
That's a good
that's
one,
a real
huh?
good one. I never even thought of that, but that's critical.
Easier
too.
said than done.
Much easier said than done, because usually one catches feelings faster than
But
the other.
man, I tell you, yes, exactly. But when two people are really together, powerful things happen.
It's
so
ultimate. And
it
that's
is.
why they keep us fighting with each other. And that's why they over-sexualize and that's exactly why, because they know that the absolute most powerful magic is sex magic.
What when I say the two words reciprocal initiation, as far as a healthy
Healthy reciprocal initiation to me is I do my things that I do that I know you like, and you do things back for me that you know I like. You don't do back the same things that I do for you.
Right.
Unless you know that that's what I prefer.
Right.
Reciprocal, green flag reciprocal is when it's an exchange. There's all people are like, oh, the unconditional love, transaction, blah, blah, blah. No, there's no such thing as unconditional human love. And there's no such thing as a non-transactional relationship. It's the intent behind it that makes it an exchange. What the exchange is the integrity of the exchange. healthy reciprocation is when I know what you like and do those things, and you know what I like and do those things. You don't try to give me back what I give you. It's
Right.
not equal exchange. It's not even. It's I give you what you want, you give me what I want, and we both inherently know what those things are.
So in these 2 words here, reciprocal initiation, what you're saying there is, let's say that there's a couple and they don't have all the same interests.
Right.
Right. There's some differences, but there's a reciprocity, and say one person initiating something that's not necessarily
Their preference.
personal jam, but they're initiating, hey, I know
I know you love
play
that sipping
golf with the
that
buddies, or
sip and
whatever.
paint thing. Let's
Yeah,
go
yeah,
do
yeah.
that Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go over some quick mini role plays. Because we've talked about, again, like what goes on, some kind of strategies of how to circumvent them. Let's put it that way. So let's flip to where things are going good. Right? You got some good positive signs. There's not, red flags, if any at all.
Mhm.
They're pretty much mostly green, and
pink.
the
There can be
things
pink flags.
Yeah, maybe some pink ones. It was fun
Mhm.
while you guys were working through disagreements and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And you're wanting to take that next step, but you're not sure if the other person is ready for
Right.
this next step. So here's some things. What do you think about these little quips?
Okay.
So what if the person said about when you're talking about defining the relationship? So that's the topic of conversation you guys are having. And then one person says, I'm enjoying this. I'm interested in something intentional. How about you? So you state your case.
That.
You state your
That's
case and
powerful.
bam, flip it over to them.
I like that because it's not
You're not sticking your
grabby.
shit out there.
Yeah, it's
too
not.
much.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not clingy. It's not
Yeah.
needy. It's like not. Do you like me if I like you?
Yeah.
Sandbox shit.
Yeah.
It's very mature. It's a very mature. Say that.
Yeah. So to say, quote, I'm enjoying this and I'm interested in something intentional. How about you?
I dig that because it doesn't mention
Yeah.
time. It doesn't mention commitment. It doesn't mention any of the hooks.
There's no. We've been dating for
locks.
8 months now.
Isn't it time to
Yeah.
take it to the next level? Well, who the fuck even knows what the next level is at that point? No, I love that.
I love it. Okay, good
that's
stuff.
Good.
All right, now how about we talked about hiccups? So both collectively like each other, and whether it's the first fight or some significant hiccup, something with family, who knows what it is. But this example has to do with not getting a text, it looks like. So after a hiccup, so quote, hey, I missed that text, but I value this. So next time I'm going to confirm sooner. So can we reset Friday at 7:00? So what I see in that is you're owning, what they're kind of upset a little bit about, and then you're wanting to make amends like right then.
Yes.
Let's make a
make
do
a
this
plan to fix it
commitment.
right
I got
now.
my calendar open right
Yep.
now. This doesn't have anything with me not wanting to see you. I want to see you.
Yeah.
Like, let's lock this in.
Yeah.
So that's a good
I
move,
do
right?
that. Yeah, that's a great move. I do that like with regular appointments. Like when I feel terrible when I have to cancel, but my life can be flaky. And sometimes, like doctor's appointments or whatever and stuff like that. And I don't feel as bad if it's a commercial thing, but still, I'm still very conscientious about always canceling, rescheduling, whatever. I never just no show. I don't understand that at all.
Got it.
I don't get it.
Well, it is now time for what's the verdict. Okay. So this is, this is when you do a thumbs up or thumbs down and then explain why. And so, talking about some terms and trends and stuff like that. So social media, do you know what it means? We're talking about relationships today.
Okay.
Do you know what hard launch is?
No.
Right? I was just
No.
like fascinated with this too. So the hard launch on social media is where you are publicly announcing a relationship.
Okay, so you
all the
both change your
photos,
relationship
the labels,
status and
yeah,
put the pictures
yeah,
out there.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I've actually seen it. Always makes me feel stressed.
I'm always late.
I'm always like,
what
are we in high school?
I changed it and updated it, I should say, but it's never like when we started seeing each other and I
yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think when I first posted
Facebook
something
had just
about,
started 20 years ago.
not just that, and then there was an option of it's complicated.
Yes.
So I'm like, that's what it is.
Yep.
So
That's funny.
all right. Now, what about this? May have been hitting into the question that you had earlier, have you heard about, I forgot to ask you, so do you like that or not? Thumbs up or thumbs down on hard launches? Okay, so thumbs down on that.
I think that's really,
yeah.
To me,
attention seeking.
To me, there's an insecurity there.
Yeah.
That tells me
seeking.
that relationship is.
Or you're trying to rub someone's face in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With. I don't have a problem with sending messages, not at all. But
there's so many
if
rules.
you're doing it for that reason, I'm okay with it. But other than that, I think it's a big sign of deep insecurity in the relationship. I have friends that do this. Every time they start doing that, I'm like, oh, it's over.
Oh, and you can tell sometimes when that happens because you see the breakup, and then when the other people hook up again, you're just like, oh my gosh, this is worse than anything that happened on Boppers. All right, now what about a red receipt?
Okay.
READ.
Yeah, red receipt.
Red receipt. Okay, this is a feature showing when messages are seen.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, and so this can increase accountability,
but
it can increase anxiety.
Yeah, exactly.
And control.
That's exactly
factors, right? So I didn't really know about this.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier.
So that's where my wife was asking me, do you have this set up where people know that you read the text? Like, I have no idea.
I always turn that off.
And I found out that
any kind of awareness,
yeah.
Like if you can tell that I'm on or off or whatever, I shut all that off.
And that makes sense because like with the thing that we're talking about, the last thing that I would want somebody to kind of perceive is that I was sliding.
And that's it. It's a perception thing.
Yeah, and it's like I've got business. Sometimes I don't even,
I will not respond right away.
Yeah. Or like, and my own wife has done it. Like she'd come home one time and she's like, I've been calling you for 2 hours. I'm like, well, I've been here at their backyard, working for 2 hours.
I'm not.
I don't need my phone to be by to do things.
Yeah, I have my phone with me, but if I'm engaged in something, I don't touch it.
If I don't answer it, that means I'm unavailable.
I leave my ringer off. I turn off
all the time.
Almost all notifications, and my ringer is constantly off. So I don't even hear it unless I have headphones in.
And that's frustrating, though, because I do sometimes miss calls that I wish
every once, it's so rare that anybody calls me.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I'll miss that.
So are you thumbs up or thumbs down on those things? Like having them where you can tell if somebody reads your message or not?
I prefer they leave that I can see theirs, but I don't want them to see mine.
I agree.
Only because I know my habits and I don't, it's never about them.
No.
And if it is, they'll know it.
What it is with me is if I see they read it, I check off a box. Okay. I did my due diligence.
Great.
I communicated with them. If they don't get back in touch with me,
that's on them.
I'm not going to be bugging them.
For the most part, I'm good.
Did you get my text?
Right.
So
used to not knowing, I don't have that visibility with.
So here's a trend in dating where you are taking a hiatus from a dating app.
Okay.
So periodic breaks to reduce your burnout, reset your standards, and meet people in real life. Because they're going back to the way that we used to do it, man. They're going out. They're going to the bar and meeting people.
So bad. As bad as it got in the bars, online is so much worse. It's better to go out to the fucking bars again.
Yeah, and not just that, but like post-COVID. So it's 5 years later, but they still are young enough they weren't able to, go out and stuff like that. So it's just like never again, right?
Yep. But people are starting to understand energy now, too. And that it's harder to read online.
Well, and you're online again, dating apps, you're of course online. We talked about the social burnout and stuff. And so this point right here says that many, after they do go on these hiatuses from dating apps, they report that they have clearer judgment after about 2 to 4 weeks. 2 to 4 weeks.
See, I've never done the dating
They
app
can kind
thing.
of see things that they couldn't see.
Yeah.
Because they were so
Oh, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
Like common rhetorical patterns. There is a beautiful movement online by I think I told you about this. The Burned Haystack Dating Method by Jenny Young. She is she's a professor of rhetoric.
The Burning Haystack.
I'll explain it to you in a minute. But Jenny Young is a professor of rhetoric at University of Wisconsin Green Bay. And she, after a divorce and getting back out in the dating world, started to notice these specific rhetorical patterns that if men said this, then the end result would be this. If they said this, the end result is this. If they say this, it means this. And she distilled out all of these patterns that you can just nail that if they're saying something like this is what they're actually saying. This is what they really mean.
Read between the lines.
Read between. And what it stands for, burned haystack dating method, means how do you find a needle in a haystack? Burn it down. So the method is block to burn. I mean, yeah, block to burn is called B2B, the B2B method. When you're on these dating apps, the minute you spot one of these patterns, block. Just don't even go there.
So it's kind of like a dating app
discernment method.
Yeah, like best practices, type of thing. I like it. So I did not know about this. You probably did.
Possibly.
Well, because there's AI coaches, right? Of course, but there's AI texting coaches where there are tools and prompts that suggest replies.
Yes.
And then it's helpful for clarity, tone.
You don't even need a special app. Go to any AI, any chatbot, and just ask. You can take their response, drop it in, put it, hit it, and it'll give you something to say.
So let me understand this procedure here. So you're sitting talking with somebody with your phone.
Oh,
right?
No. Okay, I'm thinking like, yeah, you're not in person.
No.
Okay, yeah. So
but you're communicating with a human, and you're using the AI to
pasting, dropping it into AI, cutting and pasting its response, dropping it into your chat.
So why would a person do that?
Because they have no game, and what's happening is they then get in person, and they're not the same people.
Yes,
because AI, they've got these snappy AI personalities, and in real life they're duds. It's hilarious. It's actually kind of funny how it's washing out.
They don't think
that they're going to have to be a person in person. It's a mess. This is how stupid men are today, Grady.
Wow. Seriously.
It's really bad. It's really bad. Like, they're just so dumb.
This is...
I'm glad you got a good one, too. Keep her.
Healing. We talked about habits, and so let's talk about those things and then getting back out there. So let's say you had some negative experiences with some of these things, ghosting, being played, manipulated, gaslighting, and all that stuff, and you've done your recovery, done your rebuilding, you're ready to get back out there. Okay, so body, mind, and soul, right? And we talk about this a lot anytime we have kind of a little health subject. And so as far as the body, suggestions are in the recovery toolkit, sleep, right? Sleep is, of course, healing, so important.
Absolutely.
So important.
Sleep is
so important.
It's very important to have a regulated or know how to regulate your central nervous system in relationships. What happens is we get into them dysregulated. We think butterflies in the stomach, chemistry is a good thing. No, it's a dysregulated central nervous system.
Yeah.
You do not want that. The more calm and boring it is, the healthier it is.
I remember my first experience with butterflies when I was like in 7th or 8th grade before a track meet. Before I would run, I would get nervous up in the stands, right? And then they said, oh, just, take some honey. And it seemed to work.
Yes.
I don't know why, but it seemed to work. And then as far as like the other times in sports, when I was up at the plate in baseball, never really butterflies. It was always like if we were in the field or something and we were possibly going to lose. That's when I would get some butterflies. Football
that makes sense.
Crazy in that the only time I would get butterflies before the game started. Okay.
Adrenaline.
And then I was the kickoff returner. And so once I got hit, just tackled, then everything's fine. And there was never, ever.
Oh, sure. That makes perfect sense. You're
football.
Psyching yourself out in your head, and then you get hit. Your body has to recover. Your body has to go into action to recover from the physical injury, and all of those stress chemicals deplete.
I don't know what
That's what's happening. Interesting.
Yeah. So before you're rocking out and the sport's getting all fired up and stuff like that because it's coming. It's coming.
Right.
And so once it happens, then it's just like game time.
Well, it just proves how powerful your mind is and mind over matter.
Another time was, and then people ask me, don't you ever get nervous when you go out on stage? And I say, there's been times, but most of the time, if I got nervous, it was because I had to speak and I wasn't as prepared as I should have been. Then I get a little bit nervous that I'm going to forget something. And another time was, there was a big show coming up and it was a couple weeks before, and I'm just doing something that really wasn't related to it, but tickets were selling. And there was going to be eyes there, right? And I remember in my own moment, nobody was there, and I got these little butterflies. And then I remember your training. Don't focus on the outcome, focus on mastering the process. Rehearsals, hit those hard. Make sure that you got this taken care of. And by the time I get on stage, it's time to have fun.
Sure. They
Work
built those
is
neural
in.
pathways. That's
Yeah.
why they talk about visualization. Joe Dispenza did these amazing,
Yeah.
amazing experiments where they had people they had two groups, a control group and a
But see, that's the thing though, is that in that situation, I wasn't visualizing the show.
No. I'm just,
okay.
but you don't necessarily have to visualize. But when you do, it makes it faster. But you just by having those thoughts, you were wiring your neurology, and they have proven that like by using these control groups. There was one they've done it with physical activity. They did it with piano playing, where they had one group that physically practiced for a certain amount of time. The other group visualized that they were practicing.
Right.
And when they actually put them in physical trial with it, the people who had visualized had almost as much skill as the ones who didn't.
Yeah. Oh, it's powerful. But I guess my programming that I've learned through coaches is that if you're focusing on the outcome, right? If I was focusing just like, oh, I hope everybody shows up, or I hope that the haters don't go too crazy or whatever. If I was thinking about the outcome, then those are the things that typically are the negative secretions, right? That make you even exacerbate the butterflies.
Absolutely.
But when you have the belief that if I prepare properly,
exactly,
there's nothing. The outcome's going to be great.
Right.
The outcome's going to take
or
care
if it's
of itself.
not, you did everything you could to make it happen, and it didn't.
But it helps. It helps
That's
again.
the key.
Not
it's personal
focusing
confidence in your own ability.
on a result. The result takes care of itself. I guess that's what.
That's a good point. That's really true. If you handle the process, the result is imminent.
Now, under the mind, we've talked about this before. Journaling, asking yourself. So after your relationship or a gist or whatever, it's not a gist. What is it called? Like a relationship?
A tryst, yeah. Gist is an idea.
Yeah.
Tryst is a tete-a-tete.
So ask yourself, is there anything that I missed, right? In order to get out there again, what do I require?
What do you want and what don't you want? That's just as important.
Yeah. What did I learn? And then notes here of interrupting rumination.
Yes.
And building clarity.
Yeah. Rumination is just overthinking. It's a fancy word for overthinking.
Yeah. So kind of like once you're healed, get back in the pool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Yeah, get
absolutely.
back in the pool.
And understand two things. One, you as a healthy person can healthfully regulate a dysregulated person, and a dysregulated person can pull you into dysregulation.
For sure.
That's what happened to me with my narc. I was healthy, but still had things to work on, clearly. And man, he ripped every bit of that out. It was great.
Now, body, mind, now for the soul. You ladies are really good at this. When something traumatic happens in a relationship, a breakup or something like that, seems like, interestingly enough, observing and going, through it. And in my younger years, I was really flippant, just turn them and burn them, type of thing, which I'm not saying that I'm proud of that.
Sure.
I'm just telling you the story.
That was culture. It's culture.
Yeah, and but the guy when there's a breakup, the guy in the beginning just like, blood working bitch.
Whatever.
Like,
crazy.
Come on, let's go drink some beer, and stuff like that. And the girl's crying her heart, she's heartbroken and stuff. And you girls,
what did I do?
You rally around your
each
friends.
other. Yes, we do.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we do.
Talking about a support system. You guys it seems like you're natural at it, even if there's some mean girls that are in that supportive cocoon with you or whatever,
where they're not necessarily giving you the best advice or being as helpful.
They can kind of concede.
They're still
they can
supportive.
concede. They can kind of just like do what they have to do. And then but the guys, and then it's the opposite. After a few weeks, with all the support that the girls have and stuff like that, and then the female becoming emboldened, hey, I don't need that loser, you know what I mean? And then she's probably already getting asked out on dates and stuff like that. And she's happy after a couple of weeks, or at least kind
back
of,
in,
and the guy's the one that's all broke up.
right.
I was just like, I didn't realize what I had until
Exactly.
it's gone. That sounds like a good song. But, so under the soul, this is all to say that find some time with true friends, get back into some hobbies, develop some new ones. Nature is an amazing, amazing healer.
And by
getting out into nature.
when people say get out in nature, don't think that you have to go to the park, or go to down to the river or something. Your backyard is nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go sit in the grass.
Yeah.
Go hug a tree in your backyard. Like, you're in nature. Go sit on your balcony. Like, I sit on my balcony for hours sometimes, and I am in nature.
Exactly. Well, we talked about that too, just unplugging, just kind of closing your eyes and listening to the sounds. You're unplugged. There's nothing coming in your ears. There's no headset or anything like that. Silent
Nobody
walks.
else's
Silent
mind.
walks is what we were talking about.
Yeah, silent meditation, walking meditation.
Weeks ago. And then it has here also reduce screen loops to rebuild presence.
Yes.
Okay. So good habits would be to have a 30-day no breadcrumb rule. What do you think about that? No breadcrumbing. You're not going to, like, if, again, you're kind of in the game and you've got these guys that are breadcrumbing, saying, hey, what's up? You don't see them for a week. They're
the
just
WYD dudes.
giving you a little sprinkle here of attention, a little sprinkle there of attention, but they're nothing serious, right?
Right.
So they're saying to just purge yourself, no breadcrumbs for 30 days. Don't even respond to them.
Yeah.
Give them a little taste of their own medicine.
Exactly.
And that may seem like a petty approach, but you're
no,
this is about
that's a boundary. Yeah, that's protecting your peace and learning who is going to stay in your life and who's not.
Scheduling joy, right? What makes you happy? What's an activity? What's a state of mind? Of course, that could go into different areas, especially, if we had some of our guests on here, but schedule joy, whether, again, it's golf or, kids. Kids,
your craft hobby, or your girlfriend, or your best friend, or volunteering, or anything, your an online business, or
people watching.
That's
amazing. Oh my God.
My neighbor and I love to do that.
So fun.
Absolutely. Make up stories about people.
Now, and then do a weekly check-in with yourself, asking yourself, did I honor my boundaries? Did I honor my commitments and my 30-day strategies? And
being
stuff
very
like that?
conscious when you're in this is the hard thing, because of all the damn Disney bullshit we were raised on. We have this weird idea that we do everything consciously in our lives except fall in love and be in relationships. Like, that's supposed to somehow be some romantic mystery, sort of unspoken.
Well, it's built into our
It's weird. It's
fabric,
weird.
Yeah.
It's a strange concept and a strange construct, but like, people are like purposely delude themselves in relationships. Right. It's like, what? Like, what? I did it. I absolutely did it, and no more.
So now this is a green flag builder, how to date better, right? And so we've talked about these things. So state your intentions early, not too early. You want to have a, date. But, that is just state your intentions,
if
where
you're
you're at, find somebody that matches your energy.
Yeah, exactly.
You get verification about people from their actions, right? Not what they say, what they do, right?
Actions speak louder than words. Do not give full credence to what people say. Watch what they do.
Yeah. And I love this one right here because it's celebrate reliability. If you find somebody that is in your life or comes to your life, reliability, somebody that you could count on.
Consistency, reliability, always reward that.
Yeah. And then co-create one plan that both of you guys keep.
Yeah.
Right. So, and again, you could do this even if you're married. Just like, hey, once every 2 weeks, we're going out on an official date. I was talking to her about that the other days.
It's a really good idea. It really is a good idea.
Always keep dating.
And it feels like we're like, I don't schedule a date with my husband. That it just feels weird because we feel like it should be spontaneous or mysterious or romantic. No, it's practical.
Yeah.
Life is practical.
Use the movie to, talk
spice
about
it up.
what is afterwards.
Yeah. The format can be mysterious and romantic.
Do your
but
own.
The time and date need to be set.
Do your own Siskel and Ebert. I dated myself there. All right, so let's visit some matter of facts here. We're closing in on our 2-hour window. Matters of fact. And so ghosting is common, Kel, across all ages, right? And it's especially in app-based dating.
Yes.
Where low friction, increases the disposability of people. So the relevance of that is normalizing the pattern helps listeners depersonalize and adopt clean exit scripts, right? So again, like we've been talking about, there's patterns, to this stuff. And we're trying to give you guys some tools to recognize when it's happening and having boundaries for yourself and different things that you can do to alleviate and get rid of them. Okay. We talked about how love bombing, too fast, too soon, thing, leads to a devaluation. Okay.
And then discard.
And then a discard.
It's a very clear process, and it happens very similarly.
And it mirrors very known manipulation cycles that you talk about.
It's classic.
Yeah.
It's very classic. It's just, it happens. When you see this happening, you know you're with a narcissist. Walk away. And the whole thing about, love bombing is you really need to, if you find yourself getting sucked in by that, you really need to look into yourself in what you're lacking. What is it that you're wanting and needing that you could get sucked into somebody telling you they love you within 10 days, within 12 days, within, and really feeling that.
Now, the relevance of this is if you're able to kind of name the cycle, that you're kind of experiencing with this other person, is it helps you break it.
Absolutely, it does. You got to become aware of it, call it out.
You got to see it. Do something about it. And the reason that you do that is because you're protecting your self-worth.
Yeah.
Okay. Matter of fact, consistent routines and social support reduce post-breakup rumination and speeds up emotional recovery. Now, the relevance of that is, of course, it justifies the body, mind, soul toolkit that we always talk about and try to implement. And again, don't forget to schedule joy.
Yeah. I recommend after a breakup, especially if it was particularly abusive or traumatic, more coaching than therapy, because it will help you point out those patterns, whereas a therapist may tend to be more, tend to act more sympathetic to that story. A coach will go, do you see this? Do you see this? Do you see this? Do you see this? Pick out the patterns for you that you're wanting to blind yourself to in the process, in the coaching or therapeutic process. And the therapist will keep you in that loop of, that discovery and reinforcement process, rather than actually training you to spot these,
so it's kind of like
breaking through your delusions. Therapists tend not to want to break through your delusions.
They're feeding you a fish a day
do.
instead of teaching you how to fish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And I don't say that just because I'm a coach, but I personally had to go to coaching because therapy didn't work. It kept me stuck.
Yeah. And there's a difference between the two for sure. Matters of fact, consistent routines and social support. Oh, I just read that one. Clear boundaries correlate with higher satisfaction in dating and long-term relationships, right? And so again, boundaries are good.
Then the reason for that is because people who are able to set and keep boundaries have a higher sense of self-worth and self-esteem, and are able to not need what they're getting from the other person that keeps them sucked in. People without boundaries are needy. They're needy and clingy. There's something specific that they're being fed by this abusive situation that's keeping them stuck in it.
Speaking of stuck, last point here, matters of fact that secure attachment behaviors are learnable.
Oh, absolutely.
So, honesty, repair, reliability.
Attachment styles can be fixed.
Yeah.
They absolutely can. Narcissism is much hard. It is almost no. It's almost no. It can be done. You can recover from NPD, from narcissistic personality disorder. The person has to be extremely interested, self-aware, and willing. And they rarely are. They're just not wired that way. But attachment style can absolutely be healed.
Yeah. And
most of that is just conditioned behavior.
And the relevance of that is that because you're not stuck. I mean, you could be temporarily stuck, but you're not stuck forever.
Right.
And that these skills can shift,
those
patterns
are learned
and outcomes.
behaviors. Avoidance is learned. And so is anxious. Anxious attachment is the clinger. And the avoidant is the one that runs. And then there's me, the fearful, which is I want attachment, but run from it when it starts to happen. That's the hard part. Those of us who grew up in inconsistent care or narcissistic situations are typically fearful avoidant.
It can be complex, huh?
It's very complicated.
Well, I hope What'd you think about the conversation?
I thought this was great.
Yeah.
This is what I live. This is where I'm at.
I hope that it was good. You never know what you're going to get.
No. Hopefully it was informative for the listeners.
Yeah. Episode 26, Ghosted, Gamed, or Gaslit. On this episode, we named it.
I'm going to throw in a little plug for myself here.
Yeah, hurry.
If you are listening to this and you are suffering from narcissistic abuse, attachment disorders, situations like this in relationships, I am a coach that can help you with this. So I'm going to throw in a plug for that. You can get me on Facebook, facebook.com/realkellyrush, or shoot me an email, rushk@post.com.
I love it. I love it. She's got a lot of good things to say. So next week, hey, we go on full spooky season with it. Episode 27, I should say. What's the matter with Halloween? I don't know about that.
let's wear
You never
costumes.
know. Maybe. But we'll talk about myths, legends, and first century boogeyman. Yeah. So some urban legends we grew
rabbit
up with.
holing.
Maybe some modern monsters.
Yeah.
We could talk about that. Maybe some that we invented online because we love to be scared, right? In an appropriate way. But we'll separate.
In a controlled way.
We'll separate
we know we can
folklore,
get-
fear, and fact just enough to keep some chills and keep it fun. So thanks to World Matters Incorporated, Matterhorn Studio, Big Bongo Productions, Active Life Integrated Health, Soulless Better, America Matters Media 93.7.
Just in time.
Yeah. All right, I'm the G-Man. Date brave, love smart. Remember, your piece is non-negotiable. See you next week with a Halloweeny haunt. Until then,